welcome to the podcast. I am Melissa Matheson, and we are counting down the days until Christmas. We are exactly 1 week away, and I hope you've got most of your shopping finished. Let's spread a little holiday cheer today by talking with some friends of mine who actually got engaged at Christmas time. We're here with Matt and Emily talking about how they met, dated, and married. So grab your coffee and join us at the table. We're talking about Like at First Sight, blindfolds, and Cinderella's Castle. Today on What's Next, God? Max is graduating high school. Max will be 18 in February.
It's gross.
That's so
Did you know Maya's
hard to
driving?
believe. What?
She got a permit. Not
It's
a
permit,
license.
not license. But she will in May. 16, she's going to drive that all
I feel like all these kids that we had in our middle school class are like, I'm like, what happened? It's
Like,
only,
it was just
it's only been
yesterday.
a couple years.
No,
Like,
they are
Just yesterday.
all grown up.
I know, it's crazy.
Do you feel old?
Yes, I am
I don't
starting to
feel
I'm
old.
starting to feel like I don't what's happening. I don't
I tore my
all these
meniscus in my knee at work
kids.
back in July. It was right before 4th of July break.
Yeah.
So I had to have knee surgery.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's made me feel old. Because, like,
Oh.
I mean, like, I'm a human barometer now. I can tell you when it's going to rain.
Really?
Just
In
like
your
my knee, I'm
knee?
like, ugh. Like, just from having my knee surgery.
But you're not that old. Okay,
No,
wait,
no.
wait.
I don't think
We
I
are-
feel it
we
in
are
my body,
recording.
but I
Okay.
feel
Okay,
it.
how old
like-
are you? Are you going to say...
I'm 30. I'll be 31 on the 27th.
So you're
2
not
weeks.
old, but your
I'm getting there.
Your knee feels old.
But I remember being Max's age, thinking people my age were like grown men, and I'm like, but I'm not grown. It's like, well, that's not true. I was wrong.
You're just a young boy in a grown man's body.
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell people the only difference about being grown as a man is learning how to fake your interest and likes, because you still like. I mean,
You still like Legos.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I love Legos.
We both
that's real.
play Legos
That's
with
very
it.
real.
What else do you love that you would be embarrassed to admit sometimes that you love?
Embarrassed? I'm not embarrassed to admit anything.
Okay,
I'll tell you.
this is so true.
Definitely
This is so
not.
true. Okay, but tell me something else. What else do you love?
Certain cartoons.
Okay, like what?
All right, so the way I raise my kids, I have 2 boys, and instead of like getting into the PJ Masks or the Paw Patrol, if I have to watch cartoons, I now have a scapegoat. So we watch X-Men. You know what I mean?
Okay.
This stuff I grew up
older
on.
Yes.
stuff.
You know.
And they love it too, don't they? Because you're watching it with them.
we've already been through it, and then Star Wars, like Rebels, I just started, which is pretty good because I'm a Star Wars fan. So it's like, stuff like that. Like if Emily walked in and we didn't have kids, I'm just watching by myself. I'd be like,
And that would be
I'd
okay.
have to turn it right.
Are you a video game player? Do you play?
I am. I wasn't
Yes.
really growing up, which I think the online, the being able to play online with other people has changed that because Corey, my brother, lives in Dothan, so we can play and just get on headset, and it's almost like hanging out.
Hanging out with your brother.
Right.
That's cool.
Like I don't like to
Yeah.
get on and really just play by myself. Like I only like Corey texts me like, "Hey, want
But
to play?" I'm
Bennett
like,
really loves it because he's watched you.
Yeah, but now Bennett gets on and he'll play with like Zachariah and Benny.
How
Yeah.
old is Bennett now?
He is 5.
He's 5. Whoa.
Yeah,
And Lucas is how old?
18 months.
18 months.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys were middle school youth pastors when my kids were in middle school. And so you
Max
were
was 8th grade.
Max was in 8th grade. He's a senior now. Did Maya was in there too?
She
She's
had
like
just started
Yeah,
junior high.
5th
Yep.
grade or
Yeah,
something
fifth,
like
yeah, I
that.
think it was 5th.
So that makes you feel old when you know that they are about to graduate
And
high
Maya's
school
driving.
and Maya's
Yes.
driving.
Yep.
And then I look at you guys with a 5-year-old and an 18-month-old and I go, whoa.
Right, yeah.
Where did the time go?
know.
Because when I first met you guys, it was like 11 years ago.
I
You guys
know.
were, so you were like 19?
I moved here when I was 19. That's right. Yep.
It was right after you moved here.
Mm-hmm.
You were just a baby then.
That's
so
so
now
nuts.
I feel majorly old now that we're talking about
Okay.
this.
Put it like
We-
this.
oh.
Bennett is older now than Maya was when you moved here.
That's so true because
That's weird.
Michael was 4 years old when we moved.
Yeah, that's so. I remember her sleeping underneath the chairs at the ramp.
Oh, yes.
She still does.
She sleeps everywhere. And
Curly
she's
That's
hair.
so true. She's 15 and still just, in fact, right before y'all got here, she was napping.
Was
and she's
she?
about to go dance. So
That's
she, I guess,
amazing.
had to get her a little nap in before
Right,
yeah.
she has to go and dance. Okay, so I've known you guys a while. Let's see. How long have you been married?
7 years.
It'll be
8
8
in April.
Has it been that long?
8
I
years in
wasn't
April.
thinking it had been that long.
Yep,
Yes.
8 years in April.
It's unreal.
It is unreal. Because you guys are so young. And you got married so young.
Yeah.
So, Emily, you're a hairdresser.
Yes.
How long have you been doing that?
Since 2007.
So you've been doing that a while.
So yeah, about 13. Is that about 13
12,
years?
12, 13 years, yeah.
13 years.
And you love it.
Yes.
And you're very good at
do.
it.
Oh, thank you.
Matt, what do you do?
I am a utility for the flooring department of a motorhome company.
And you work really weird hours.
Yeah, I mean, our scheduled hours are 6 to 2:30, but
But you have to drive.
Yeah, my drive is about 40 minutes each way.
So what time do you wake up in the morning? Did I
About
see you wake up
3:30.
at 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, because I have to be
So-
there by like 5.
Oh, oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday?
And today, Saturday.
And
I
he
work
had
today.
to work
Did you work today too?
Yeah.
Just
Oh.
during the holidays, he has to work.
We
Usually
like
an
work a
extra
couple
Saturday.
Saturdays to make up for time we'll be off.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So at 3:30 in the morning, is coffee your friend?
No.
No. What is your friend in the morning when you wake up at 3:30?
Guilty pleasures, tweakers. They're like a
It's terrible.
99-cent version of the 5-hour energies.
Oh gosh.
It's it's an addiction
I have
that I need
tried.
help from.
I have tried to
I
talk
went
him
like
out of
even
that.
even just a couple weeks ago. I was like, I've got to stop drinking these because they're terrible for you. And I went like 3 days without it, and like my mood changes. I hate everybody. I'm just
He's like, I
people
can't do
just
it.
not even do anything. Say hey, how you doing? And you just want to throw something at them like shut up. So
And you've tried
I
to do.
started
He's tried to
drinking
do Sparks and tried to do coffee
but
and all that.
nothing
But
hits
he's like,
hard like those little.
Oh my goodness. What time do you have
Things.
to go to bed at night?
I usually go to bed by like 10.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't do it.
yeah,
I-
I couldn't do it either.
That's just
I don't
not enough
require a whole
sleep.
lot of sleep. Yeah.
My brother-in-law's that way. He can
I
give
have
him
to.
3 hours and he's good. And I'm like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I
do
need
that.
the full 8
Yeah,
hours
I'm
of
like,
sleep.
I don't require a lot. So
All right, but do you drink coffee though, even if you don't do it at 3:30 in the morning?
yeah, I'm not like a coffee snob, but when it's there, I drink it.
In
I
the
enjoy it.
afternoons. And,
You socially
So-
drink is
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that's been actually a topic lately. We've had a lot of people that are social drinkers on the show with their coffee.
That's awesome.
They only drink coffee socially. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like it's like the first I don't know, 10 or 15 podcasts we did, everybody is like hardcore drinkers.
Coffee drinkers.
They know the shops. They
Oh, yeah.
know all the lingo, which I don't. I just drink
we
it.
don't. We don't. We just
And then
drink
it's
it.
like the last handful of people I've talked to, no, they're just social drinkers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, when people ask, I'm like, just a good medium roast. Sometimes I like dark, depending on how bitter it is, with a little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar. I can drink black with no cream, but I gotta have sugar. I'm not straight black kind of guy.
No.
Do you drink coffee, Emily?
Yes, I do. I never really liked it before until I was pregnant with Lucas. And then I
Oh.
craved these Starbucks Frappuccinos.
She's a
Which
frozen
that's
coffee.
not really
Like
Right,
coffee.
right.
like
That's
ice, but
like-
it gave me the taste for
Okay.
coffee. And so then I started like an iced coffee, like iced white mochas and stuff like that.
You like all the sugar and the
Yes, I do.
syrup,
All the sugar.
I do.
all of the things.
Yes,
I
with a little
gotcha.
bit of coffee, you know.
That's hilarious. Well, I guess there went our coffee talks. All right, so you work a lot. You're a hairdresser. You have 2 little boys. Tell me a little bit about them. What are they into these days?
Oh man. Let's see. Lucas.
Is he in kindergarten?
Bennett. Bennett's in kindergarten. Yeah,
Bennett.
Bennett's first one. So
Yeah.
Bennett's 5. He's in kindergarten. Into everything. He's honestly brilliant.
He is smart.
Like even the school have wanted us to get him tested. They've mentioned it because he's just, I think, just operates on another level. But he's just into Legos and video games. I mean, he's your normal 5-year-old, but kind
Whose
of
personality does he have? Yours
Me.
or Emily's?
Mine,
He's all
for
you.
sure. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, he's sarcastic. He's witty. He's
Looks like
Yeah.
him and acts like him.
He does look a whole lot like him. And here's the
Yes.
thing about Bennett. Like, you can only really, I have only been able to observe Bennett from a distance because Bennett does not seem like he wants to just be overly friendly sometimes.
Yeah.
Just wait until he comes to you. Don't try to force yourself on
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
is what I have observed
He-
when I've seen Bennett in public with me.
I think
Yes
he
and
sticks to us a little more when we're in public.
yeah. I mean, if you give him 5 minutes, he's warmed up.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know he likes Maya, so
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
my
loves
child.
everybody.
So,
Yes.
you know, I can kind of like when she's got him, I can kind of go up and, hey, Bennett, how are
Yeah,
ya?
yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lucas, who's he like? Is he Emily or is he another you?
I think he's more like me.
Probably, yeah.
Cute, laid back,
Not
kind of
laid
chill.
back.
Oh.
He's actually a lot more high maintenance than Bennett
He is
was.
a chill kid, but he is a little more than what
Bennett
Bennett
was,
was.
yeah.
Bennett was really a chill baby.
Like we had no issues with Bennett ever.
Yeah.
Like from the first night we brought him home from the
Like
hospital,
he just didn't
slept,
get into a lot of stuff.
slept through
and
the night, never
slept
cried.
good.
You could feed him, you could forget to feed him. He didn't care.
We never did that.
Everybody needs a Bennett for their first baby.
Yes,
Yeah,
he,
yeah,
he was an
Ryan.
amazing
I mean-
first baby.
Yeah, because Ryan McCoy, him and Ashley had the twins, and I think for a
Yes.
while they dealt with colic, and so he's dealing with colic
Oh.
with twin boys, while Bennett's just like,
We were kind of
So-
like, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, I almost felt bad because of how Bennett was acting, and they're just like not sleeping, and I'm like,
Because are they the
"Oh,
same age?
Yeah, the boys are
Yeah,
a couple months older.
5 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was hearing their stories, and I was dreading it, and then Bennett comes out, and he's not that, and I'm like, score.
Matt.
So on Wednesdays, we talk about the camels coming,
Yes.
which you guys are very familiar with that phrase.
Yes.
Now, when that whole camels are coming exploded in our community, were y'all already married or were you
Yes.
dating?
Okay, the camel's the prophetic word, or the camel's like your soulmate kind of
That
person?
word.
Yeah, I think we were the
we
first
were married.
We're the first
They
camels.
pioneered the camel
Yeah.
movement.
We were
We opened the
married.
gate.
And
We opened the
remember, we found a Beanie Baby that I had given you or something, and
And it's a camel.
and it is a
Oh, I have
camel,
to get
and
it. You would love it. I have to,
and its name is Lawrence, which
which is my first name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Look at
yes, and
there.
I had given it to him as a gift or something. I don't remember.
Okay,
but-
so tell me how you met. You were 19.
19. I was
Emily,
in,
how old were you?
I
21.
was 21. Yeah,
Okay.
a little older.
So I was in, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I was in college at Lee
Okay.
with a lot of chosen at the time who went. That's how I got to know some of
Lee
them.
is in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Cleveland, Tennessee,
Yep.
Lee University, yep. And Bryce Harper and Andrew High had to come for a conference, and Bryce's car was put in the shop, and he's like, "Hey, can you give us a ride to conference? We'll get you in, get your registration taken care of and a place to stay, all that." I'm like, yeah. So I drive down, and that first night of conference, it was March 28th. They were in the back after service. Well, I didn't know anybody. I couldn't just walk in the green room. So I'm sitting in the auditorium, and there's another girl that we went to school with whose family was connected. And I don't know if you remember them or not. Do you remember Ronnie Bruce from Birmingham?
Yes, I do.
His oldest daughter, Kristen Bruce, went to school with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so she was sitting in the audience. So I just went and sat with her, and we were talking. And Emily and Ashley Hill, Cindy Hill's daughter,
Yes.
come.
Oh, these are names taking me way back.
Right, right.
Yes.
So they come bopping down the stage to see Kristen, and she introduces us. And this is my friend Matt, blah, blah, blah. And they talk, and I'm just sitting there. I didn't really say anything. And when they leave, I lean over and tell Kristen, I'm going to marry that girl. And she's like, yeah, okay. She's like, yeah. So from day one, like I knew.
Okay, so you guys were in Cleveland, Tennessee. You come to Hamilton, Alabama for a conference. So we
Right.
have a ministry here in Hamilton called The Ramp, and they were doing monthly conferences, and you brought some of the guys down that were a part of that event.
Yes.
Emily is a part of this ministry team.
Yeah.
She comes bebopping off the stage to say hello to your friend Kristen you were sitting beside.
Right.
And you said right then, this
gonna
is the
marry-
girl I
yeah.
want to marry.
Yeah.
Did she talk to you? Did you?
No, not
she
really.
talked
Just
in
kinda
the
like,
group?
Just
yeah.
hey.
Yeah. There's just the four of us, and they're like, this is Matt. She's
What
like,
do
"Hey."
you remember about that moment, Emily? Do you remember seeing Matt?
Yes, I do.
He's winking like, oh
I
yeah, she
do.
remembers.
Yeah, oddly, it was kind of like a like at first sight kind of a thing. I didn't even know him, but
Really?
it was like, I don't know. There's just something that
You can tell them I look good.
something
liked
that
the way I
intrigued
looked.
me about him. And he was gonna be staying with my cousin Ryan. I was like, oh, so he's coming to stay.
But I didn't know Ryan because I had not yet talked to Bryce and Andrew. I didn't know where I was staying.
They had just set you up with a place to stay. You didn't know.
Yeah,
whose it
which
was.
that's where they were staying.
Oh, okay.
Because neither one of them lived here at the time.
So y'all were all just
We
gonna
were just piled
crash
up at
there
Ryan's
at Emily's
in
cousin's house.
The
And
infamous
I
Weston
lived-
Apartments.
next to them,
Right,
close
in
close.
another apartment.
Well,
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So did you see her after the service too? When did you see her again next?
I saw her off and on throughout the weekend, but I don't think anything really happened that first week, or that first conference, I should say. But the very next conference, so that was in March of '08. So in April of '08, there was a conference, and the ramp there was a ramp branch in Cleveland that used to be run by Jeremy Austell.
Right.
And we had services on Thursday night. And so we were in a service Thursday night, and it was right before conference. And another friend of mine named Jared Corley mentioned wanting to go to ramp conference, but he didn't have a car. He's like, dude, you want to go to conference tomorrow night? I was like, man, I said, I don't have the money. He's like, well, if you can drive, I'll pay your registration. He's like, we got to find a place to stay. And I was like, well, let me talk to Andrew, if we come down, whatever. And so Andrew tells Ryan, hey, these two guys are going to come stay. And Ryan, being Ryan's like, all right, So we go down. I don't really know Ryan because during conference schedule, Ryan's in and out, So I didn't get to know him the first week. So that April comes and goes. I kind of get to know Ryan a little bit better because now, 2 conferences in a row I'm staying with him.
Did you know that Ryan was Emily's cousin, though?
No.
Oh, okay, you
Not
still
yet.
didn't know that yet.
And I don't even know if I knew Emily lived in the apartments in these first 2 conferences.
So you saw her in March and then didn't really see her in April.
I was looking at her.
You were...
Yeah, but I don't remember specifically talking to her, no.
It
Okay.
might have been a hey or something,
So April goes.
Right,
We're
and,
kids ramp.
yeah.
Because I think I knew you were there.
Right.
You knew he was there, too.
Yeah.
Ah.
And so then we would take the month of May off for our conference schedule to really give everybody a breather
Rest,
before
yeah.
the rush of the summer conferences. And so during that May break, right after school let out for the summer, Andrew High and Julie Tawari moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so Andrew, being Andrew, would blow my phone up, bro, come hang out, come stay with us a week, come whatever. And I wouldn't do anything. And
Because you're still in Cleveland, Tennessee.
well, yeah, I was actually already home at this point,
Oh,
back in Dothan, just because
Gotcha.
school let out,
That's right. Okay.
And so Andrew pressed for the first 3 weeks of May, just come stay, hang out a little bit, and whatever. And I'm like, all right. So finally, by the end of May, I come up to stay with him, and he's now living with Ryan in the same Weston Apartments. And I guess I really owe this all to Andrew.
Shout out, Andrew.
So my first day in Hamilton, I come to stay to hang out with him, but him and Lindsay are spending all day, every day at the ramp, choreographing summer ramp dances and getting all that worked out. So my first day here, I wake up like 8 o'clock. Andrew's gone. My car's gone.
Andrew took your car.
Andrew took my car. And Ryan's gone because Ryan went to work. So Ryan's only furniture is a futon in the living room.
Uh-huh.
And the TV sitting on the floor. And I think I watched August Rush like 4 times that day. It was great. So Ryan,
Welcome to Hamilton.
yeah, we're in Hamilton now. And I'm in Weston. So, I mean, I'm outside of this.
And nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's a long way. I have no
Yeah,
ride.
you can't just walk anywhere.
Yeah, Andrew's in the ramp, so he has no cell phone service. I don't know anybody, really. I kind of know Ryan, but, like, didn't even have his number at this point, I don't think. And he comes home from lunch, and I'm just sitting there, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, Andrew took my car. He's like, no, he didn't. I was like, yeah. He said, man, I'm working. He said, well, you can come up to the office if you don't want to sit here. I'm like, yes. And,
Yes.
so he used to have that little cubicle that was off in Brad's office at the time in that little cubby.
Yeah.
And Brad wasn't there that day. So Ryan took Brad's computer, and I just played games on Ryan's computer the whole day. And we forged the instant friendship, and he became my best friend. And I mean, that was all it took.
But you still haven't really talked one-on-one
We
yet?
talked a little bit. We had been texting.
Have we started texting already by that
the
point?
April conference, somehow I got
I'm
your number. I don't
MySpace
remember.
stalked her.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, MySpace.
MySpace.
Yes, he
And I
did.
think I may have even made it to like the bottom. I think you had like a top 24 friends. I think I made it on the wall of friends real quick, and I was like,
Oh.
got her. She's hooked.
She's hooked. So we go through the summer. You're kind of going, oh, I like this guy.
Uh-huh.
When did we have a first date? Did we have one?
We did, but
I don't.
it was a little bit before, like, I think we consider our first official date, because we go all summer. I stay through a week
We
of
hung
May.
out with friends.
Yeah, stay
Together
through
all summer.
all the kids' ramps, stay through the first summer ramp, and then my parents were youth pastors, and they're like, well, we're going to bring our youth group to the second summer ramp. So I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'll just stay until then. So by this point, I've stayed like a month and a half.
Yes.
And so we've hung out all throughout the summer with Zach Avery on his boat at Bear Creek with everybody, and
Oh, yeah.
and just all of that. And so we were definitely crushing on one another. And then, I don't know even if you're privy to this, there was and I don't if everybody else who is involved hears this, I love you. The infamous beach trip. That was yeah. So there were 6 of us that go to the beach, and
I remember.
yeah, okay, that's all that needs to be said.
We had
You
permission.
know.
We had permission.
We did have permission. Okay, all right.
Leadership knew.
So that happened, and I really think that's kind of when we were like, okay, we were out with one another. We like each other. We're gonna,
That's when we told each other we liked each other.
Right. And so whenever
At the
we got
beach.
back from that beach trip, I think I had 3 days before I was supposed to be moving back in to leave for school to start
For
moving
school,
day.
yeah, okay.
And Miss Karen had called and said she wanted to talk to me before I left town. So when we got back from the beach, I actually went up to the office and met with Miss Karen. And actually, even before that, before I left for the beach trip, I was at home in Dothan getting ready. I'm actually praying. I'm just in my room praying. And I hear audibly the word Hamilton. And so I stops me. I'm like, okay, what is this? And I'm asking the Lord, and I feel like it's like a move to Hamilton thing. And then I'm thinking, well, no, I've just had fun. That's where friends are right now. It's
That was
new.
my
It's
summer.
exciting. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, you're going to have to tell my mom I'm in college, And my mom's very, I mean, she has an ear. She loves the Lord and all this. I'm like, you're going to have to talk to my mom. I'm not even going to mention it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And literally just an hour or so later, my mom calls me downstairs and she's like, I know you're getting ready for this trip. She's like, but before you go to school, I want you to really consider just all of your options, everything that's going on. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what are my options? And she's like, I just really feel like the Lord's impressed that you should just consider Hamilton. And that's what she says. And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
interesting.
Yeah. And so I don't say anything to her about it. I'm just like, okay. I was like, well, I don't really have a door there that I know of, So go on the beach trip, come back, and Miss Karen says she wants to meet with me before I go to school. And she said, this is basically what she says. She said, I don't really know where you fit in the scope of things. She said, you're different for me. So I guess I wasn't like typical, like chosen material, but like, there was still something there. And she talks to me about Emily and all this, and we talk, and she's just like, I feel like this would be a really good season for you to join and be a part of what's going on here. How do you feel? This and that. And I'm like, yes, So instead of 3 days moving to Lee, in 3 days, I moved to Hamilton. And that's all she wrote. We've been here.
Yeah, and I
ever
remember
since.
thinking and praying. I was like, Lord, I said, it would be really crazy if he moved here. And I was like, Lord, you're going to have to work all that out. And then he moved. It was crazy.
But you had a word from God. Your
Right.
mom gave you a word.
Yep.
And then Miss Karen going, we want you to come be a part of this for a season.
Yeah, we talked in her office, and
There you go.
No.
In Hamilton it is.
what, 10 or 11 years later? What year are we in now? That was 08.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So 11
19
years
11
later.
years later, here we
Yeah.
are.
Here you are, still in Hamilton. So friends knew that there was this little something,
Oh,
yeah.
something
Oh,
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I remember being at JP's Grill.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's the first
So
time I
you
think I've
worked
ever
at
met you.
JP's.
Yeah, work with JP. That's right.
And I was where I met you, and that was when I was hearing about you and Emily.
Yeah.
And your
JP.
Because
the
I
talker.
would come up there on my lunch break
uh-huh.
to see.
And I was like, really? You and Emily?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep my coverage on that one.
How long did you guys date before you proposed?
Almost 4 years, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, we met in 08. We really didn't consider it dating until 09, but we were married in April of 2012.
April
2012.
of 12.
Yeah.
Almost 4 years.
What was your reason for dating so long?
I wanted to have a car, a house, a job. I wanted to be just established,
Yeah.
Yes.
and that was pretty much it.
That was the reason.
Yeah.
How was that for you, Emily, in that waiting process? Like if
It was hard.
it was hard.
It was
Yeah.
hard.
You can be like really honest because I have a feeling there are people listening right now that
Yeah.
may be in that situation and they're gonna go,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute, what do I do and how do I do it?
Yeah, it was really hard. I remember asking him, like, when are you gonna propose to me? Like, are you gonna marry me? Like, don't you want to marry me? He'd be like, yes, yeah, soon. That's all he would say was soon. But I just remember just a lot of leaning on the Lord, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this season and get closer to the Lord. Well, I can't, and so I was like, I'm gonna enjoy just not being married right now, and
You were saying that, but you
Yes,
weren't really.
but inside
feeling
I was
it in
like,
your
oh
heart.
man, I was preaching to myself like the
Sure.
whole time.
Speaking things that aren't as though they were.
Yes,
So.
yes.
But
Definitely.
you just had it set, Matt. You wanted a job, you wanted a car,
Right.
you wanted a house.
Yeah, like growing up my whole life, I don't know if I started it as a joke or what happened, but eventually it took root. I always told my mom I was going to live at home till 25 and just be established and whatever. And I think it was a joke at one point that kind of turned into like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, we were married at 23, or I was 23. But yeah, I mean, it was just a big deal for me to be able to, you know, be established, provide, and whatever. When I got the job at Tiffin, it was actually frustrating because all of Emily's friends are like, "Oh, now you can propose. You can propose now." And I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I can."
But I'm not.
Yeah, and I think I worked there almost a year, I guess, right? Almost a
Yeah,
year
probably
before I
almost a
actually
year.
proposed, and so people were like warning her not to marry me, you know, all this stuff.
So did you ever at any time feel pressured to maybe change your mind about that decision you made, Matt, and just go ahead and just propose to her? Or are you probably
No.
the kind of person once you've
I'm-
made up
I'm
your
very
mind?
spiteful.
He definitely
You're-
is.
I mean, it's true.
Once
Like
he's
I heard
made
you
up
and
his
Kyle
mind.
Alfrey talking about like
Yes.
kind of you don't like to get on trends, so like even the Kanye thing and whatever. And so Emily's had it on and she was doing dishes. I was in the kitchen, and so I started listening to that part because that's how I am. If there's a trend, even if I like the trend, I'm not partaking.
Nope.
No, just because.
No.
Just because.
This is why I like
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And so it was funny because then y'all start talking about enneagrams, and I told Emily, I said, "I'm so spiteful. I don't even know what that is.
It's like, I don't even
Like,
know
I'm
what
sure
I
it's
am.
great. Everybody talks about it. I have no clue.
So you still don't? Are you interested at all in it?
I am interested. Actually, I'm only interested now because I heard you and Kyle talk about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have no clue what mine is.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to get you. We're gonna have to get you updated and.
Whenever people ask me, like, because what was the one before this? The Myers Briggs or Briggs Myers, whatever it was.
Yeah, Myers Briggs
Yeah.
was huge.
Everybody asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. I was like, whatever Casey Doss's is, that's whatever Lindsay and Casey are is probably what me and Emily are.
It's true.
Because you
And,
think
yeah,
you're a lot
Lindsay would
like that.
always be like, oh my God, you're just like Casey. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
You have a very strong personality. I was
Yeah.
actually, I can't believe I'm about to admit this to you. I was nervous about having
I like
you guys.
that.
Like I knew I wanted to, and I know
Yeah.
your story, and I love your story. But Matt makes me nervous sometimes. Like I never know what he's gonna say.
I think a lot of
And-
people
I like that.
feel
And-
that way.
And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna face my fear. I'm gonna have, and if Matt
That's
says something,
awesome.
I mean, because you can make people speechless sometimes. You can just say stuff
Yeah.
and then you walk away, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say right now.
Yeah.
I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe he just said that.
And I can't believe some of the stuff he says sometimes.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
know.
if that's a compliment.
I
or
wish
not,
I
but-
could think of an example, but I'm not, and it's probably not even appropriate right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just sometimes I go, oh, so I was a little nervous having you here, but yeah.
Hopefully, I don't say anything too bad. But there's always post editing, so that
There
works.
is post editing, but you know, I'm just gonna let you be you.
That's all
And
I
that's
know.
one of the things I like about you is you really just
Oh yeah.
say it like it is.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? And I think that that's a strength, by the way. I'm not saying there's anything. You just make me uncomfortable. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong in doing
Yeah,
it.
from what I've heard, you're
People
not
like
the
that
only one.
challenge.
Yeah, definitely not the only
People like
one.
that challenge me because, and that's what makes people uncomfortable is when they feel challenged all of
Yeah.
a sudden. And so that's all it is. It's not anything about you. It's me. It's not you, Matt. It's all me. Now, this is the time of year that
hilarious.
you guys got engaged. I remember.
Yes, it
I was
is.
there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
It's
was,
amazing.
I don't know, 100 other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me, finally, after 4 years, did you know he was going to propose?
I didn't.
She didn't because I didn't.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't know
What?
that.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know this part. All right. So we had already been ring shopping. We'd done that whole bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I knew the ring, the set we were getting, all of this, which that in itself is a story. But so basically, her dad went and picked the ring up for us because we got it from a
didn't
jeweler
know any of
in
this,
Birmingham.
though.
You knew your dad got it.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Oh, hey.
like even like tonight, you didn't know that?
Yeah, you told
didn't
me
know it at the
later.
time.
I didn't know it at the time.
I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, I was like, oh, we're just finding
Yeah,
out.
I was confused. So Mr. Don went and him and Miss Dorothy picked the ring up for us out of Birmingham, and we were, of course, practicing for SFC. Okay?
Yes. Okay, wait. Let me tell everybody, pause real fast. Searching for Christmas is a Christmas production we did here every year at the Ramp for a number of years. And it was a phenomenal production that you guys played
amazing.
very prominent roles in that production. But the production required everybody there all day, practicing all night for weeks and weeks and weeks leading up to production. And we would do it for 4 or 5 different nights, and people would drive in from all over for this production. So when we say FSC or Searching for Christmas, we are talking about the production, and you guys had a role in that. So we're practicing for that.
Yep. So we're practicing for that, and Mr. Don comes in with the ring, and they call me to the side, and he has the ring, and I'm like, oh wow, this is real now. And I'd been talking to Lindsay about it because I'm not super creative, so I'm like, how am I going to propose? How are we going to do this? So Lindsay snatches the ring and runs it to Miss Karen. And
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lindsay was the dance choreographer at the time. I remember that part.
Yeah. And so Miss Karen's like, you've got to do it tonight. I'm like, no. Negative. I was like, no. Because me and Lindsay had talked about different ideas. Emily's a huge Disney fan. And so we had contracted out Tony Bartosky.
Yes.
And he had actually built, and we still have it actually, he built a miniature Cinderella castle.
Yes.
And he
Wooden
just
castle.
happened to have it there that night.
Oh my.
Because he wanted to show me what he had been doing. He's like,
Crazy.
what do you think? And so the ring would sit right on top of Cinderella's castle and all this. And so now I have the ring, now we have the castle, and they're like, Miss Karen's like, you've got to do it. I'm like, wait, no, hold on, wait. we haven't planned this yet.
Oh, they had it all planned.
Oh yeah. Because
Oh,
Lindsay
yeah.
Doss had it planned probably
Yes.
months or years even.
Matchmaker.
And
Lindsay.
so, so during this particular year of the production, there was a sort of flashback scene between the man and the woman. It was about their marriage and restoration. So the flashback scene was how they met. And that's where me and Emily portrayed their early relationship in a dance, And so we're dancing. There's a park bench and everything that's involved. And there's a part where in the dance, the guy proposes, so you see them dating, whatever, get engaged. And during the part of the proposal, Emily actually would come out blindfolded, and I would pull her over to the park bench. So Ryan, my friend, her cousin.
But I wasn't always blindfolded.
Oh yeah,
Miss Karen
Miss
was
Karen
like-
actually planned that. That's
Okay,
right.
so
Yeah.
here's the thing. What I remember, though, is that it was, rehearsal over, everybody. But
Yeah, it
Matt
was
and
over.
Emily,
That's right.
you guys need to stay
Yes.
and
That's
what it
run
was.
through that scene. And everybody else, all of us,
Yeah.
ran to the foyer
To watch it on the
and the
screens.
green room to watch it on
And
the
they were
television.
like-
That's right.
So it was just the two of y'all and Lindsay and Miss Karen.
Yes.
because
in the
I knew that
sanctuary.
Emily wanted a private proposal, but still wanted everybody there at the same time, and that was our solution: get everybody out
Yes.
of the room, but where they can still see it, and then
And I was thinking, why in the world are we having to do this scene over? We killed it earlier.
Oh, you killed it, but
And
one more time.
Then
Yeah.
they were like, you got to put your dress back on. I had already changed. I was like, why? I was like, I don't understand.
So
Yeah.
you think everybody's gone.
Yes.
You're going to run through this dance one more time. Miss
Yes.
Karen has the idea of let's throw the blindfold
That's
on.
right,
Let's
yep.
make let's make the
Yes.
scene a little more realistic. Let's put a blindfold on and see what
Yes.
that looks like.
yes.
All
And,
right.
and so as we're in the middle of this certain dance, when I bring her out to propose in the dance, her cousin Ryan, my now best friend who I'm living with, brings out the Cinderella castle with the ring on it, sits it on the bench next to her, and just so happens her brother is the sound guy. So he had a track from The Little Mermaid, which is her favorite Disney movie. And so the music changed. And so she just snatches the blindfold off, like, what's going on? And then there I am already on one knee, got the ring. And then Brad hit the snow machine at the perfect time. And
It was.
so it was
crazy.
really no part of my own, except I just happened to be there. And I'm surrounded by a great cast and crew who made it awesome.
Pulled off the production.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
can't believe
Come
that I
on.
had
Emily's
no
proposal.
thought that that was going to happen because during the practice, and I remember thinking, it would be cool if he would propose during this. I was like, but I was thinking, he'll probably never think of that.
I did.
And then, it didn't cross my mind. It really did not cross my mind that night that that's what was happening. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, why are we having to do this again?
It didn't cross Matt's mind either.
Right. And so, like, as
It's
the
not.
pieces are coming together throughout this dress rehearsal, I'm like wigging out and can't even focus on what I'm
Oh,
doing.
he was so nervous. I was like, what is wrong with him? He was shaking when he was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to lift
Oh,
me and like
Matt.
sweating.
Yeah.
You were nervous.
It was terrible. And so it just worked out because I mean Ryan was there and he had the whole thing recorded, and then everybody comes running through the
It
doors like
was so
crazy
perfect.
people, and yeah.
It was.
So perfect.
It was so perfect.
And we have it all on video, and a photographer just happened to be in the room.
Yeah, Nikki Philpott
taking
just happened to be a professional
pictures.
photographer there, and just
Yeah.
everybody's great.
You
so.
couldn't. Good job, Matt. You
Right,
couldn't have
yeah.
planned that out
I
any
know.
better.
Divine,
It was amazing.
divine intervention.
All my family comes running in. They were all in there, and I didn't know it. And
So after 4 years,
yes,
finally waiting,
yeah.
there
That
it
was
is.
it.
That
Yeah.
was it.
And it was funny because he had not told me that he loved me after 4
Yeah, because
years.
that's a big word for you.
And like,
Like,
even I was thinking, and even when he proposed, he just said, "Will you marry me?" And so, like when we were leaving, I said, "So do you love me?" And he was like, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "Well, were you gonna tell me?"
yeah. Because I mean, I didn't have the big speech ready or nothing, so it's like, yeah,
That's hilarious.
So funny.
yeah.
So that was December. What date was that
December
actually?
8th
December
December
8th.
of 2011,
And then you got married
Yeah.
in
April
April.
21st, 2012.
Yeah.
All right. So planning a wedding in like 4 months. Well,
Crazy.
What was that?
Stressful.
because you probably didn't have anything, even though you knew you wanted to marry him, you didn't know
Yeah.
when it was going to be. So you probably didn't have anything really thought out or.
I had like had it all planned out in my mind, you know. So I knew everything that I wanted,
Okay.
but we
Now
had not
making it happen.
Yes.
What was the most stressful thing about that for you?
Oh man. I don't even know. My mom handled a lot of it,
Yes.
thankfully.
Right.
Your mom did an amazing
She handled
job.
a lot of it,
And the
so I'm so
decor on the
thankful.
stage, was that your
See,
cousin?
even that
Who was that?
best
My
friend's
best
husband.
friend's husband.
Oh, the trees and the jewels coming out of the trees.
See,
and-
I was so thankful that I had him
Oh.
because I just told him what I liked and what I wanted, and he ran with it.
It was
And
beautiful.
See, even that like goes back to like our supporting cast, because like we just knew they were coming. He didn't currently at the time work for the florist company, did he?
And no, he didn't
But
work
in
for
years
the florist.
past, he had
and
worked with
worked
them
for a
with flower
florist
arrangements and whatnot. So he just brings a massive truck. He
from
just
the
loads it
florist
up
that
from
he
Arkansas.
worked with.
We didn't know. I had no clue what he was doing.
He brought all the flowers.
Yeah, he's like,
and-
we're gonna take care of this, you know. So we're, you know, doing wedding stuff, and he's like decorating while we're doing our wedding rehearsal.
So that was a surprise for you. You didn't know it was going to be all like that.
Oh no.
Had no
I
clue.
didn't know what it was
Oh,
gonna be
my
like.
goodness.
He had sent me pictures
We're
and
just-
ideas and stuff. Like we were communicating back and forth because they lived in Arkansas, and and so I had sent him what flowers I liked, just things that I liked, and he did all of that.
It was amazing. It
And,
was
yeah.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
What a gift.
right.
Yeah, so amazing.
Oh,
amazing.
that was beautiful.
That was just the Lord.
It was. It was.
Yeah.
Well, would you do everything exactly the way you did it before? Would you still, Matt, looking back, date for 4 years?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, you know, I could probably have done it in like 2.5 or 3 if I'd had everything together. But I was still
I don't know if we would have been ready though.
right. Like I was,
Really?
yeah, you know, 2021 we were dating. I
We
was
learned
still
a lot while we
very,
were dating.
Very immature guy kind of thing. Corey come to live with me. He was 14, I think, and I got custody of him.
See, stop it. Corey's married with a kid, and you're
I
talking
know,
about him
right?
being 14.
Right,
I
yeah.
know.
I
It's
just
so
can't
crazy.
right now. That just doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
And that
Yeah.
actually, I think Corey probably played a big part of me waiting that last year. Just because I had to wait for him to
Yes.
get out of high school.
Yes.
You know, I really want to make sure he was going to be, you know, a decent person and a productive member of society. You know. And,
And he is.
oh yeah, he's him and
Yes,
Lindsay
he's
are phenomenal. We love
awesome.
him.
He's awesome.
So
We're just kidding. He's great.
Yes.
He's a good kid. Well, he's not a kid
He's not a
anymore.
kid.
He's a grown man.
yeah, he's
It's
25.
So crazy.
Oh man.
Right.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. So tell me about the first year of marriage. What do you remember most about it?
I loved it.
You loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. We had a great first year of marriage.
I don't know if I specifically remember the first year of marriage.
Because you're getting up at 3:30 to go to work.
Yeah, I just
in the
remember
morning.
like life in general. I do.
Everybody always says the first year was the hardest, and we were like,
If this is the hardest, we've got this thing whooped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course after you tell people the first year is easy, they're like, well, wait till 5, and then we had 5.
but
and
we
we're like,
went through a lot while we
Still
were
not bad.
dating, and
yeah, we
thankfully
met, yeah.
had like pre-counseling and stuff while we were dating, and
Oh, that's great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What were some major
So-
things y'all had to deal with in dating?
Personality differences. We
Okay.
yeah,
are polar
and
opposites.
yeah, definitely, and communication issues
Right.
and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember a specific. I just remember it was a lot.
It was a
of different
challenge.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's been something difficult in your marriage?
Communication
guys.
issues.
Still something you have to constantly work on.
Oh yeah, it's constantly
Oh,
work.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
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 I think I think we know each other well enough now. We can just we know what the other person's thinking and
Oh, yeah, it's gotten
feeling
it's
about a
gotten better.
situation. But when we're talking, she's like, "How was your day?" And I'm like, "It's good." For me, it was good. For her, it's like details.
Yeah,
that
he
whole
just
thing.
would
and
never
it's just
talk,
like,
and I was like having to pull stuff out of him, like.
but to
"Talk
me, I thought I
me."
was like, I don't want to talk to anybody this much.
I'm like, talk, tell me about your
Yeah.
day. But I think that's like a girl,
You're also into podcasts, aren't you?
I love listening to podcasts.
You love listening
I've
to
never,
podcasts.
Yeah, this is actually my first podcast being a part of.
It may not be your last.
Oh, I hope not. Because
Yeah.
this is something I would enjoy doing.
I think you would be
And a lot of
really
different-
good at doing
I've been
this
told
kind
that
of
from a
thing.
lot
Yeah,
of
he
people.
loves this. Kind
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So what kind of podcasts do you listen to?
Anything and everything, really. I like, obviously there's preaching and teaching and stuff like that. I listen to philosophy podcasts. I listen to news and stock markets and media and fringe news, conspiracy theory type thing. I mean, anything and everything.
Anything. Because you said you would rather listen to podcasts over music
Oh, yeah.
all day long. But now, Emily, you would probably listen to music.
Yes,
wouldn't
I
you?
love
Because you
music.
are
Yes,
music. You love
yes,
singing
love
and
music.
worship. And yeah.
Yes.
So major difference there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What about when it comes to raising kids? What's that been like? Y'all on the same page pretty much?
Yeah, I think so. We actually have
Pretty good.
incredibly similar upbringings, like almost scary.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that resulted in similar, child rearing
Mm-hmm.
ideas and views and whatnot. So we haven't had any major issues,
Yeah.
As far as-
That's great.
right?
Do your kids sleep through the night?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do
Yes.
they?
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
Both of them.
Mine did too.
Yes, and they
so
always have.
When I
pretty
hear
much.
of people that their babies are not sleeping through the night, like my heart hurts a little bit.
I
Right.
know.
Because I don't know what that's like, but I can't imagine how
Yeah.
tired.
I know.
You ain't
I
lying.
know. When people talk about how, I'm like, I've never experienced that.
Yeah, I don't know,
Same.
but I feel my heart just kinda,
Yeah, it
I'm
goes
like,
out
Oh
to- yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's like, the first couple weeks you're home with a newborn, every 2 hours you got to feed and diaper change and all that. So as the husband, I want to be up and be a part, and I want to have to leave her with that, even though I'm getting up in a few hours. And so, with both of them, month and a half, 2 months. And then it became more of a fight during those 2 hours to wake the baby up to get them to eat. So we're just like, you know what?
Just let them sleep.
We're gonna let 'em
Let 'em sleep.
There you
And so,
go.
we only had to deal with that for
Yeah, they slept through the night
weeks,
really
not
early.
even- And then I have friends at work who, they're talking about little girls 2.5, and still every 2 hours is awake.
like,
and
I
I'm
cannot
like, oh my
imagine that.
goodness.
No. Yeah.
So
Tell me something
thankfully-
about Emily, Matt, that you wish people knew. That people don't know that you wish people knew about Emily.
People don't know that I wish they knew about Emily.
Like something really great about her that most people don't know.
The greatest,
And I want you to be thinking about him.
Emily's blunt honesty.
But see, so are you.
Yeah.
So that
Oh,
makes
yeah,
y'all a great pair there.
Yes, but Emily is the loving, kind person who never wants to hurt anybody's feelings, and I've always been told I'm the jerk who always hurts people's feelings. But no, Emily's very opinionated, very strong-willed, I think is the healthiest way to say that.
Oh.
And I don't think she shows that enough because she always prefers other people to the point of
Yes.
no confrontation. Where I think with me now, it's, when an unstoppable object meets an immovable force. And usually, I mean, I'm going to say 99.9% of the times, whatever her instinct is, it's usually right.
Yeah.
So even when when I'll make a decision, even as, the husband or whatever, a lot of times in my bullheadedness, I'll make a decision. It may be wrong. And be like, I think we need to do this. I'm like, I don't know. And we'll have a different opinion. And then, usually she comes out to be right. If I wish, that people could see that about her. Cause she thinks a lot more about stuff than I think people tend to.
Because she defers people. Most people don't see that side
Yes,
of
because
her
she
being
doesn't want to
so-
hurt or,
Yeah.
offend anybody
Yeah.
with like, that's dumb.
Well, I think her stick it to itness is she probably learned that dating you. Like,
man.
I'm just
Yes.
gonna
Yeah, she
I'm
can
not
hang with me.
backing
She's good.
down. I'm not giving up. I'm just gonna sit right here and wait. So I see that tenacity, that endurance
Yeah.
in
Right.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Like I see something and it's worth the wait, and I'm just gonna stay right here
Yes.
until it happens. So I'm glad you stuck around for him.
Yeah, me too.
What's something about Matt that we don't know that you wish the world would know?
What is something about Matt? I don't know. He's pretty open.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't
Nothing
know
to
him.
hide. It's true.
That's the thing. You're an open book, but people, I don't want to say you're not approachable. Maybe
You can
people
say
are a
it.
little intimidated by you,
Right.
or people. Okay, I think if somebody wanted to be in a relationship with Matt, we're going to have to pursue you and be
Right.
intentional with you. But once you get to know Matt,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
he's-
here you go, floodgates
Oh my gosh,
open,
yeah.
and best friends.
That is,
Trevor, I think you're
that's
very
true.
loyal, but people are going to have to pursue
Right.
Yes.
connection with
Yeah.
you.
Through like
He's a good
the
friend.
years of RSM. Yeah, I'm a great friend. I've been the best man.
I was thinking that. You're
The
so
best
loyal.
man. Oh,
He's been the best man in I don't know how many weddings.
How many?
like 7 or 8 times. The best man. I didn't know I had 7 or 8 friends.
Yeah, but that's the kind of friend you are,
Right,
though.
yeah, apparently. I feel bad for everybody else.
Yeah. You're just that kind of friend. Talk to somebody right now who is, well, talk to 10 years ago, Matt and Emily. If you're giving advice to somebody who's right where you are, dating somebody for the first time, they think this is the one, give them some advice. Anything you would do differently or do extra that you didn't do that you wish you would have done?
Yeah, lots I do extra. I think the greatest advice I've been given that I share with every guy that I know that's going to get married or whatever is 2 things. You give up your right to be right, even when you're right.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate. That's
That
number 1.
is such great advice.
You give up the right to be right, even when you're right. And I was told this by a man that I highly respect, and it is always the man's responsibility, no matter what the issue is or argument may be about, to make sure it's resolved before you go to bed.
Okay.
Like if you're the man, it's always your responsibility, no matter if you think you're right, to make sure it's resolved. And to not, obviously don't go to bed angry. Don't give the devil a foothold, that thing.
Sure.
I think, really, if you could do those 2 things, it'll go a long way.
Yeah.
To, for me, it would have.
No, that's great advice. That's great advice. Emily, what about you? What would you tell the girls listening?
Well, since I had not dated anybody, I felt like I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I went through a lot of, I don't know, I was so scared. Am I making the wrong decision? Am I, what if he's not the one? And but I put too much pressure on myself, I think, instead of just like trusting the Lord and the process of, I would say trust the Lord in the process and don't put too much pressure on yourself on finding the one. Because I definitely, I was like, I'm marrying the one. It's, and so I would say just don't put too much pressure on yourself and have fun and listen to the Lord.
I think that have fun is a big thing because I seem to remember that about you guys when you were dating. You guys had a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all were always doing fun things. You were in friend groups, always hanging out, doing fun things. We won't talk about the beach trip.
Yeah.
But like you guys were active with a close set of friends and always doing things that were fun. You guys had fun while you were dating.
Did.
And I think that that's key to getting to do all this. Because sometimes when you get married, the fun just looks a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when you're married and then as parents, the fun looks
even
different again.
Yes.
It changes.
It changes for sure.
Yeah. And then you have knee surgery and now you're an old man. And
it's all downhill from here.
And it's all downhill
I've
from here.
reached my peak. Oh, gosh.
So when do you, let's see, how many years? 7 years?
Marriage?
So,
yes.
Yeah. So coming up in April, it'll be 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow. 8 is the number for new beginnings. Yep. And 7 is completion. Yeah. So you guys have just completed a 7-year cycle in your marriage, and next year is going to be a really great year for you guys.
Hey,
I'm excited to see what's next for you guys.
Yes.
Thanks for coming and telling us your story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
enjoyed
been
it.
awesome.
It was great.
What a great story. I am so glad that Matt had an entire supporting cast to pull off that production of a proposal. Otherwise, who knows how it would have happened. Not only was Emily genuinely surprised, but it seems like Matt was surprised as well. I completely forgot to have them tell the story about finding out they were pregnant with Bennett. That involves another Christmas production and Emily running off the stage in the middle of the performance sick, leaving Matt to finish out a dance on his own. The story is hilarious. So if you know Matt and Emily, you'll have to ask them about it because it's amazingly funny. So that wraps up another conversation for this week, and we only have 3 more episodes left in 2019. We've got something special coming up in January, but stay tuned to hear more about that next week. I think it's going to be a really great and fun way to start our new year. If we're not connected yet on social media, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook under the name Melissa Matheson. That's math like 4 + 1 = 5, I before E, son, S-O-N. As in my 17-year-old son who purchased himself a skateboard for Christmas. And oh my goodness, I'm hoping I won't have too many stories to tell you about his skateboarding adventures. It's making me a little nervous. Fran will be back here next week on Monday and Wednesday of Christmas week. So if you don't have a full calendar for the holidays or if you'll be doing some driving, come join us as we sit around the table, have a cup of coffee, and talk about what's next, God.